Hello, 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 my friends. My name is Megan, and this is Stories and Stitches. Welcome back and Happy New Year's. I know I'm about a week late on the Happy New Year's front. It is today for me, it is Sunday, January 7th at the time of recording. And yeah, it's been a while. I double checked and I think I last recorded on my last video went up on December 12th. It's been almost a month, almost exactly a month by the time you see this. I had every intention and hope of having a video up the last week of December. So after Christmas, I was pretty sure I wasn't going to get it up that week of Christmas, but but I thought I would get it up and get one filmed that last week of Christmas, in between Christmas and New Year's, because I was off. So I was going to get done my regular Flosstube video, and then I was going to film my whip parade, and we were going to be all set and on track for the new year. And then December 27th, I was sick again. So I had another cold something, and I was sick that time between Christmas and New Year's. It's mostly gone now. Still a little bit of that residual, but am definitely feeling mostly better at this point, and would really like to not get yet another sickness of some kind anytime in the near future. Sorry about that. I have a new setup here, and a light behind my camera that's not a ring light, but apparently still wants to give glare on my glasses. So I might have to, I thought it was over to the side enough that it wouldn't cause a problem, but I might have to play with that a little bit, but we'll see how we go. Anyways, so all that was long story short that I am now behind on both my regular Flosstube update and my whip parade. I had considered doing them both together, so kind of either just doing a whip parade and kind of skipping that last Flosstube update, or kind of doing a combination, and then really just wanted to get an actual Flosstube done where I can show you the progress from the last time and this time, etc., and then a whip parade that is just that, a full whip parade. So today my plan is that I am recording both. So I'm going to record this video, then after that I'm going to take a quick break, reset break, and record the next video. So it is going to be a busy day. It's already been busy as I've been prepping everything. So I do have notes for this video. I have notes for my next video. So I'm probably going to rely on the notes a little bit more than normal, just so I can make sure I get everything said and try and do everything as efficiently as I can, because I have a lot of recording and editing to do today. And I have a lot of stitching progress. So between my just regular fact that it's been a month since we've last spoke and the prompts that I was doing for Fandom Stitching Central in December, I have worked on, I want to say, 14 projects since we last spoke, which is quite a few. And I've done a lot of stitches on those projects as well. Even with Christmas in there and all the busyness of Christmas, I've gotten quite a lot done. So we have lots to talk about today. I am going to try and go as quickly as possible without rushing. So I don't want to kind of rush through everything, but I am going to try and go as quickly as I can, so that we can have this video not drag on too long, since the whip parade is coming in a few days. So we are going to do stitchy progress, obviously. I don't think I've worked on any other crafts that I can remember anyways, so we're skipping that section completely. I'm also not going to do a stories section in this video. I don't really know that I have anything new to share. I probably do, but for the interest of getting everything wrapped up, I'm going to skip that section this week. And we might touch a little bit on plans. So probably do a little bit of a plans section, though I do hope, fingers crossed, to do at least a short 2024 plans video, where I kind of talk about a few of my plans for the year. Nothing is set in stone, obviously, and I may sprinkle a little bit of that here and there in this video and in my whip parade as well. So we'll see. But I think, let me just making sure I've covered everything off here. I think I have. So without further ado, let's get right into the stitchy progress. I have a giant pile of work cross stitch beside me that I'm going to hope doesn't collapse and is in something that resembles an order. So first up, we are going to, I worked on my winter jackalope, which I honestly never have this one as a picture. I really need to find it, take a picture and put it in my computer. But it is Winter Jackalope by Lorna, Laine, charted by Gecko Rouge. It is one that I like to call Winter Jack. I can show you the needle. Ooh, what am I doing? There we go. I forget how to film over here. This is the needle minder, which is what it will look like when it's finished. So here is where it was the last time that you saw it. And I don't have a board. Off to a great start for my day. So where it was the last time you saw it, and here is where it is now. So I'm not actually sure if you can tell what I've done on it or not, because it's very bits and bobs everywhere. So I am working on this one. So this is done on 1/1 full cross on 28 count, I believe. And I have decided to do it extreme cross country from smallest number of stitches. So with the exception that when I started this one, I did the whole border, like all the brown that you see on the bunny. I did all that first and then decided I wanted to do extreme cross country, starting with the smallest number of stitches, basically. Other than like there's a few like randoms in the center and over here a little bit where I hadn't decided that yet. But anyways, so a lot of what I've done, like there's a few spots where I've done huge sections, like down in here, there's some greens I've done, but there's also a lot of like onesie twosies. Like there's here, you can see a little bit, I did that color. But anyways, I did do quite a lot, even though it may not look like it. But I got done 737 stitches total. I worked on this 2 or 3 times, I think. And I am up to 10.52% total on this one. And I've just realized that this book that I chose to show behind, you can see color through. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back with an actual board that I can use behind this one. That was my first project. And this was one I was working on. I worked on it a couple times, but the first time I worked on it was for the 12 different projects on 12 different days prompt in my Fandom Stitching Central challenge. All right. Project 2 is the one that I was using for so when I finished the fox, okay, rewind. The other prompt I was working on in December was 12 days on one project. And I started off with the fox on that one, and I finished that. That was a finish in my last video. If you haven't seen that one yet, I will link that up here. And once I finished that, I started in on 'Twas the Night by Sue Hillis, was the project I subbed in. So here is what that one will look like when it is finished, with the exception that I will be changing the golds out in here for black and silver, or black and gray. I haven't picked the gray yet, but I will be changing that out. So that's 'Twas the Night by Sue Hillis. And here is where it was the last time that you saw it. And I have done a lot on this one. I have done a total, whoops, where did my, well, let me show you it first, and then we'll talk about totals. So you've seen where it was the last time. And here, can I make it show? Okay, let me show it without the, here is where it is now. So I have done, we have, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hope St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. So I have all of the words done to here, and at the top I am missing, I have just started in on Christmas, which is a big word, like the stitching, and then I have one more line of words, and then the words are finished. Now, you may notice, and I was getting very nervous, but I have not actually left myself a lot of space at the bottom. I normally leave like at least 2 inches on it, but I don't know what I left on this one because there's still border that has to happen. Like there is still border that has to go in down here. So it feels very tight. I'm a little bit nervous about that. I suspect it's because I really wanted to use this fabric and only had, whatever size this is. I only had it doesn't say, I only had a piece this size of it. So that's my guess. I know it will work out, but this fabric is Haunted Moon 14 count by Fabric Flare, and I am honestly loving how it is looking for this pattern. I love it so much, and I am so impressed with how much stitching I got done. So I got done, including backstitch, which for the purposes of this, I counted backstitch as a stitch. For fandom, for most prompts, it counts as a half stitch, but in my app, I like to count it as a full, like a stitch. I don't know why. Maybe I'll change that. But anyways, I'm rambling. I got done 3,265 stitches on this in December since I saw you last. So I am very happy. I just hit my microphone with my fabric. So hopefully I can get rid of whatever loud sound that would have been. I'm very happy with the progress on that one. It took me up until, when did it take me? It took me till, sorry, I had a container. I was going to put my microphone on and changed my mind. It took me until December 28th or 29th, I want to say, to finish like my 12 days on this one. Or the however many I still had to do. And so by that point, I was kind of done with Christmas stitching. So put it away. So it'll go away for a little while, until either the mood strikes or until like the 25th and 26th of months, which will be Christmas stitching. Though I do have more projects that I can work on for Christmas stitching now. And since that one feels like it's in a good place, it may not be the first one I pull out for Christmas stitching, but I do hope that I can have it finished this year because I think it's in a really good place to have it done this year. Okay, next up, we have Greenhouse of Oddities by LolaCrow. So this is where how it will look when it's fully finished, with the exception of there's a person, for sure, one person that can be switched out. And I haven't decided who I'm going to do yet for that part. There might be one other part that can be switched as well. Anyways, I haven't decided which options I'm doing. So it may not look exactly like this, but that is what it will look like when it is done. And here is where it looked the last time you saw it. And this is where it is now. So I have done, what have I done? I feel like I'm backwards over here for some reason. Anyways, I finished part 4, which I was still working on the last time, I think, which was the back stitching in this part here. So I had to do all of the back stitching and like fancy bits in this part. So I had to do the whiskers on the Venus flytrap. I had to do a little bit of back stitching in here, etc. Then I started in on this tree over here. So I've done the yellow in this tree. up in here and some of its trunk going down there. So that is what I have been working on. I did, how much did I do? I've done 524 stitches plus backstitch, which I didn't record for whatever reason. So that is where I am on that one. And there are 11 parts total. And I am really, really, really hoping to have that one finished by the end of this year. That's the goal. So I have, what does that make it? Part 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 6.5 parts to go. I mean, it should be feasible. We'll see how things go, but I may try to aim for a part a month until it's done. See, maybe I can stick with that. Unknown. We'll see. And then, okay, that is project number 3. So project number 4 that I worked on was, where's that one? Oh, Gamer Nouveau by Medusa Dollmaker. Sorry, let me get myself oriented here. I do have a picture of this one. So this is the one I'm working on. So Gamer Nouveau. It is by Medusa Dollmaker, charted by Gecko Rouge. That's how it will look when it is finished. And I don't actually think this one is available for purchase anymore because Gecko Rouge is no longer selling the Medusa Dollmaker charts. So I had thought about getting another Medusa Dollmaker and then I couldn't decide, and so I didn't. So this will be, unless I buy one from her, because she is charting her own charts now. So I may end up buying one from her. We'll see. But for now, this is the one that I have. And it is, so not it is, that's not how we start this sentence. Here is where it was the last time you saw it. And here is where it is now. So I have done, I know the lighting is being a bit persnickety. Okay, does that help at all? A little bit. Kinda. Anyways, I'm in a new spot, so I've moved things around in my basement. I was supposed to film yesterday and then decided that we totally wanted to redo how the basement is set up. I am probably thinking of getting a new desk. Anyways, that's not important, but I've totally moved where I sit, and now kind of just need to refigure out how the lighting is going to work on it over here. But so I worked on blue, I think, this blue-gray. Where did I work? I think I was working over here, just in filling in some of this blue-gray towards that side. So now that it's out of the Q-snap, the next time I work on it, I may kind of go across so that I have it all the way across and down a bit, and then try and fill that in. I kind of change where I want to be on this one all the time. Sometimes what I really would like to do is outline it like I outlined the Winter Jack. I can speak. Because if you look at it, there is like an outline all through, right? Like there is a pretty solid outline throughout most of it in the darker brown. The problem is that unlike Winter Jack, the outline on this one is a little bit more disjointed. So it's not necessarily all in the same color of dark brown, which was making it a bit more challenging. So I may go back to that because I really liked that method and I liked how that made it look, because then it feels like you're looking at something. But we'll see. We'll see what happens this year. But I really want to get more work into that one this year, which you'll hear is common, but is also pretty common for a lot of my full coverages, because I don't feel like I did a lot of full coverage work last year. So what did I do on this one? First of all, this one is, I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on 28 count, I believe. And I did 401 stitches and I am at a grand total of 3.05% now on that one. Okay, Next up, so those were pretty much everything that I for sure worked on before Christmas. And then next up was my Christmas Eve new start. And it is, I have been waiting. So let me show you which one it is, first of all. My Christmas Eve new start, which is Carol of Christmas Bells Sampler by Heartstring Samplery. I bought this pattern last year, I think. I'd seen it in a few different places and was definitely enabled by a couple people. I think probably the one that finally made me purchase it, or like gave me that final push to purchase it, was Lala D Stitches. I think is working on this one, and I just love it so much. So I've had the pattern. I bought my flosses because I'm doing a conversion. I was having a really hard time finding the Gloriana silks that it called for. So while I was on at Stitch North last year, I decided I was going to do a Roxy Floss Co conversion for it. So I am doing these colors for a conversion on it. There. If anyone is interested in which ones I'm using, I can let you know in the comments there. So I'm using those colors there. I will use, it does call for a DMC étoile, which I'll probably use the as called for that most likely. And I am doing it on Peaches and Cream, 16 count cream and sugar, 16 count cream and sugar by Fiber on a Web. And so I started this Christmas Eve. And I think I only ended up working on it Christmas Eve. I had wanted to work on it again, but between finishing up my other challenges and then kind of being done with Christmas stitching and wanting to move on to other things, I didn't end up doing it more than the one night. But I did get 331 stitches done in it. So this is where I got to. Carol's Wild. I think I might have actually started on the wild because that's in the middle. So it's Wild Carols is what I have going on here. But yeah, so that is where I am at with that one. And I am really loving this one. Like I just love it so much. So I am excited to get back into this one. So hopefully I'll do quite a bit on that this year. But that is project number 5. So project number 6, where is it? Okay. It is another Christmas one. I did get in stitching on all my Christmas ones at least once during the Christmas season this year. And I didn't open this one before, and I should have because struggling with zippers over here today. But this is Santa's Journey. Let me find my picture of it. It is a Janlynn kit. Oh, it's nicely out of the packaging. Look at that. This is Santa's Journey by Donna, Vermillion, Giampa, charted by Janlynn. It is an old one. But it's an old kit we had, and I decided a couple years ago, I think, that I wanted to start it up. So that is how it will look when it is finished. Here is where it was the last time that you saw it. And here, and I'm just looking at the back, it's filthy. Goodness gracious me. Need to be a little bit better on that. Anyways, here in all its glory is where I am now. I worked on, okay, let me do my really cool, pull it close here. I worked in his beard. I mean, do reindeers have beards? I'm not really sure, but his It looks like a beard. I'm going with it. In his beard here, I was filling in a lot of the different colors of brown. So I have most of that filled in, and then a little bit into here is where I worked. Didn't do a lot on this one. I did 206 stitches on that one. So not a ton, but it got a little bit of love. So that one I am really hoping to get more done on this year coming. I'm enjoying that one quite a lot. I'm enjoying using it for times when I need 100 stitches into something or 200 stitches into something, because that seems it's kind of it's not as confetti heavy as say a Haid is, or a full coverage, but it also does have quite a few color changes at the same time. So it feels like it takes a little bit longer than some others. So 100 stitches tends to be a good chunk of time for that one. Anyways, yeah, so that was project number 6. We're up to project number 7, which only brings us halfway through. I have done so many projects this month, honestly. But this one is Everything Tastes Better with, I think it's called Everything Tastes Better with Chocolate Chips on it. I call it chocolate on everything. I'm trying to get better and actually call it by its name. I might just, give up on that, but we'll see. This is what it will look like when it is finished. It is, oh, that doesn't want to focus. It is by Randall Spangler. Come on, focus. By Randall Spangler, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and it is the mini. So I've worked on this a couple times, including a little bit this year. But here is where it was the last time you saw it. And here is where it is now, my little mystery machine needle minder that I got for Christmas. But here's where it is now. I have done 538 stitches on it. I am up to a total of 14.8%. And I worked a little bit in the green over here. And then I worked quite a lot in the filling in the cloud, which you can't really see because the cloud is all these really light shades of cream. But I've been working on that. So I'm trying to get that done. I've kind of put it in my mind that I should really finish that cloud and these really light flowers because I'm not loving that section. It's tedious because the colors are hard to see, especially now that I have so much of them done. The colors are really hard to see. And I think at least for now, that's sort of the worst of that kind of color section. So I'd really like to get it done and then be able to work a little bit more on color, more consistently on that one. So that's what I'm aiming for, but it's a little painful to work on that section. Okay, next up is Halloween at Hawkrun Hollow, which is by Carriage House Samplings. I did one day on this one. Again, in one of my, as I was trying to work through the 12 different projects on 12 different days one. So this is, note here. Here is what it will look like when it is finished, roughly. Because I do plan on, words. Oh, a conversion. You'll see I am doing this on a different color fabric. So this is done on sort of a neutrally samplery color. And I am not going to do it on that color. Here's sort of another one that sort of shows the color a bit better as well. But I'm not doing it on that color. Which, because of that, there are a few colors that I'm not sure I'm going to love with my color. I haven't decided yet, but I may switch out a few as I go. Because I am doing it on 16 count haunted. Did I write it down here? No. 16 count haunted by Picture This Plus. So here is where it was the last time that you saw it. And here, if I can get it going the right direction, is where it is now. Border, 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 and more border, and one little bat. That bat was there the last time because I just needed to stitch on something that wasn't border the first day I did it. And then the second time I worked on it was like, let's just go all in on the border. So I've done the whole first square. I've done the is done. I've started the far side of the next square on both, and I've done the whole, almost the whole of the second square. So at the moment, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if I want to continue and do the whole border and then be able to kind of pick and choose which block I work on, or if I'm going to get bored of that and want to start in on one of the blocks I already have bordered out. But the other day I was enjoying doing black and just stitching border because once you kind of have certain sections set, so when I do it, let me pull it back out again. I like double and triple counted this square in all its directions and then counted this line down as I did it to make sure that that's what it was, and the same with this over here. So like I've double and triple counted to make sure these are the right size, and then to a certain extent, once those are done, some of it you don't have to think about. So when I do this line across here, I didn't have to think about how many stitches were in that because I know that it's always going to be the same amount. The same as when I do a row down directly beside another one, I don't have to worry about that one because it's always going to be the same amount. It's just the in-betweens. So when I go to do this next block, for instance, I'm going to have to count very carefully across to make sure I get it in the right spot. So I am like double, triple counting, but we'll see. I haven't decided if I want to just go for it and do the whole border and then work where I want to work or what I want to do. Because I feel like if I get the border in, then I have so many options, right? So like I can stitch on this if I want to do like mermaidy type one. I could stitch on, this has bird and crocodiles in it. There's pumpkins. I have my headless horseman. Like there's so many different things I could stitch on. We'll see. Yet to be determined, but what did I do? I did a total of 700 stitches into the border on that one the other day. That didn't work where I am on that one. All right, let me grab a drink here. Okay, next up we have, what do we have? All right, just finished number 8. So number 9, I worked on Tonight We Ride. Had to pull it out one more time before the end of the year. I can. So here's where it's going to look here is how it will look when it's finished. This one is by Autumn Lane Stitchery. And I got it in the 2022 Halloween box. So it was fully kitted up in that box. And here is where it was the last time that you saw it. And here, needle minder is in the way, is where it is now. And so as I said, this was the kitted fabric. So it is on, I think I'm doing it on 14 count. Pretty sure it's on 14. 14 count Pumpkin Patch by Bestitch Me. And I have been was working in this house. So part of the house was already done, which you'll see in the before picture, but I finished up the rest of the house with the exception of there's a little bit of brown in here that's going to need to get done. But the house is finished almost. And then once I am done that house, I'll move into this house that's over here. So if you can see down here, there's another house over there in that tree. So I'm going to do that house is the plan. Then I'll move my Q-snap over because that whole section will be done, I believe. I'm just looking to make sure I'm not making a liar of myself. That will be done. I'll move the Q-snap over. I'll do all of these houses over here, which is quite a few. So there's quite a lot of house and trees over there. Once all of those are done, and sort of the bats where I can do them down there, etc. Once all of those are done, we'll move up into witches at that point. So I would really like this one done in 2024, which I was going to say feels very feasible. And then I just said everything that still needs to get done on it and got a bit nervous. But I think I should be able to get it done. I got at least half of it, I would say, done in 2023. So I would like to keep working on that one for a finish this year. I did a total of 609 stitches into that one this last month. All right, we are getting there kind of. Okay, next up we have the problem with having multiple projects in one bag is sometimes I put the bag down and forget I need the project again. Okay, next up is Beloved by Adele Sessler, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And I have a picture here. I should try and keep these pictures in better shape, but it just doesn't go very well. Anyway, so this is Beloved Flipped. I don't know if I mention that most of the time. This is Beloved Flipped by Adele Sessler, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And I am doing it on 28 count, I believe, 1/1 full cross. Here's where it was the last time you saw it, and I pretty much worked on black or black brown. So I worked on 310 or 3371 this past while. Oh, there's a needle attached to that thread. Okay. There's where I am now. So I have done a whole lot of fill in here, like a wall of black. But when I was working on it, I worked on it a couple different times, but the one was New Year's Eve, and it was really nice because I have like pre-done a few of these rows here. It means that for the most part, I can just stitch across, like just, which is nice when you don't really want to think about it too much. So I did lots of black fill-in on that one. I did 1,657 stitches on that one. And I am now at a total of 2.01% on that one there, which is kind of sounds good until you think that that means there's still 98% to go on that. And if I only did 2% a year, I'm pretty sure it would take me almost 50 more years. 50, like 50. So we're going to need to pick up the pace on that one a wee bit. So hopefully we can get more than 2% done on that one this coming year. All right. Next up, we are actually into projects that were worked on for sure in 2024. Now I know you're probably wondering about one that I haven't mentioned yet, but it's okay. We will get there, I promise. So next up, I wanted to talk about, I probably should talk about it right now, because I have it out of order a little bit. All right, let's deal with the order a little bit better. So next up then, now that I switched things around, is my temperature shelf, which, as you know, I was attempting to finish that in 2023. Now, of course, with a temperature cell, you need to wait until you know the high and low temperature for the day. And that doesn't come out till the next day, generally. So my condition to myself was this could be counted as a 2023 finish if the only stitches that had to go into it on January 1st were the December 31st date. And that was all that had to get done on it. So I succeeded. I only had to stitch 10 stitches on January 1st. Should have been 5, but my bookshelf is a bit off, so it needed to be 10 for me. But 1 day's worth of stitches was all that needed to get done, and I did it. So here's where it was the last time you saw it. And here is where it is now. Now, this is by Grandma B. Wilden. It is Temperature Shelf, I think it's just called. I did make a few changes. So first off, the books, the charted temperatures, I used the color conversion by Stitchy Bitch for it. And then I picked my own color for my cats. So it's sort of set up in such a way that you can pick your own color for the cats if you want, which I did. And I changed up the rug. So the rug should have like a flowers and vines design on it, which was really pretty. But I also really loved this floss by Hand Dyed by Rolanda and really wanted to use it. So I changed my rug a little bit. And then in addition, the last thing I changed was excuse me, there should be a like placard kind of dealio that says 2023 up here. I didn't really want to do that. I wanted it to kind of just be a bookshelf that stood alone. I don't know if it messes with the balance or whatnot, but I didn't want that up there. So instead, I put my date just down below here. But I will, now that I'm here, roll down so you can see my last December worth of books over here. Very weird December, kind of cold, a little bit of warmer days. It's been a bit all over the place, but so that one is finished. My last official finish of 2023 right there. All right, so I did how many stitches? Oh, I don't know how many stitches I did on this one between the last time you saw it, and I can look it up. Let me look it up because I put 10 because that was the last that I needed to do for the new year. But I did more than 10 stitches on that since you saw it last. So let me do a quick look on that one there. So I would have done 383. I did 383 stitches on that one since you saw it the last time. Dear me. And I rolled it back up and didn't actually want it rolled this time. Okay. All right, we have 1, 2, 3 left. 3 left. I promise. 2 new starts and then one that isn't a new start, but I've worked on it yesterday. Okay. I also feel like I might have worked on something else the last couple days. And I'm suddenly, oh no, mini everything. Okay, that's fine. We're okay. No need to panic. Okay, so next my 2 new starts so far this year. First one, I have decided to do the Heaven and Earth Designs SAL for 2024. It is unfortunately closed if you haven't already purchased your chart. So it is closed for the year. But they had charted 10, I want to say, different charts that are a portion of existing charts. And you could pick one to stitch on. If you finish at least 4 pages of the chart by the end of the year, you get the rest of the charts for free. If you finish the whole chart by the end of the year, you get the rest of the charts, and I think you get to pick 2 charts of your choice from the store. So, of course, I'm going to aim to finish the whole thing. Will I be able to? I mean, my track record on a full cover isn't so great right now. There's about 60,000 stitches in the one I'm doing, which is totally doable, right? And I am actually doing it 10 stitch. So let me back up. I am doing the Astrology Cat Sal 2024 version. So I will put a picture of it here of what it will look like when it's finished. And the original chart artwork is by Ciro Marchetti. It's charted by Haid, and it's a portion of the chart, specifically charted just for the SAL. So it is no longer available to purchase on its own. And I am doing mine 2/110 stitch on 25 count. So I am hoping that that kind of puts it in a reasonable place for me to finish. And it feels so small. I keep worrying I've cut it wrong because for a Hade, it feels so small. But anyways, I have done, I worked on it one day so far, which means I'm automatically behind. But I've done 313 stitches, so I am at 0.51%, I believe, of the total project. And here is where we are. Just a little bit up in that corner there. But, it's a start. And I will hopefully get more done on that one in the upcoming weeks to show you. I'm really excited for that one. I kept debating whether I should or shouldn't have and all the things, and then decided to just go for it. Just go for it. All right. Yes. Next up is, I'm all out of order now because I did things in the wrong order. And then I just went whole hog out of order. Woo! Oh dear. Okay. I am throwing things. Hopefully you won't have heard a big loud crash because I'll have cut it out. But yeah, I'm doing another SAL. So this one is an unofficial SAL in that it wasn't released as a SAL. But for Fandom Stitching Central, the theme for this year is Disney. And they're doing sort of a SAL, a stitch along, as part of that for points. And there's two options. There's the heroes or the villains version of it. And they're two different charts by Cross Stitch on Etsy. And I have decided to do the villains version. I may decide to do the heroes version. I decided to only get the one for now and do just the one. We'll see how it goes. If I, let's say, finish it early or do really well on it, I may decide to do the heroes as well. But here is where it will look when it's finished. I'll insert a picture here. I am doing mine on 14 count pink sand by Witchelt fabric. And here is where I am so far. I have done, what have I done? 211 stitches so far. I'm at 2.03%. Started in on the Wicked Witch, Wicked Queen, Evil Queen from Snowing. Yeah. All right. We're almost there. We are on my last project. So this next one is my Beach Babes by Vicky Wade, which I don't think you've seen for a while. I don't remember the last time I worked on it. I think it was in the summer. I'm not pulling it off the Q-snap for this video. I will be pulling it off the Q-snap for my whip parade. So if you want to see it in its up-to-date glory, make sure you check out my whip parade, which will be going up in the next couple days. Sorry for all the umming. I'm getting myself distracted. It's not a good sign for the whip parade that is to come, but the lighting shouldn't have thrown me off today, but has totally thrown me off today. But that's okay. It's okay. It's a work in progress, right? What was I saying? So, Beach Babes by Vicky Wade. I am not going to put in a picture of where it will look when it's finished. If you've been around for a while, you will know that this is one I'm stitching for my mom. She has seen me working on it. She knows the general gist of what it will be, but she hasn't seen the final picture. So if you would like to check it out, I will obviously have the details of it in the description below, but I won't be putting that picture in here. I will show you where it was the last time you saw it, which is here. And here is where it is now. And if I don't put this behind, oh, I'm going to mag right to it, aren't I? Yep. So I am working up here, in this sort of clouds area, up in there. And I did 271 stitches on that one so far today. So far this year. And I need to go let a cat out of the basement. I will be right back. Cat is out of the basement. Both cats are out of the basement, actually. Okay, so those are all of the projects that I have stitched on in the last month or so. So I told you I had done a lot of stitching this last month. Even though I didn't feel like I was doing a lot, I did. So I actually went through and totaled up how much I had done for each project. And I have done at least 9,773 stitches. However, that is actually inaccurate because I didn't properly count how much I had done on my temperature cell. So let me update that. So that is more like 10,146 stitches done in the past month, which feels like a lot. I'm very happy with that amount. I am going to try and do a little bit better this year at keeping track of how many stitches I do on all my projects, because I didn't last time and or last year as well until partway through the year. So hopefully I'll have some good numbers for how much I've done next year at this time. But I feel like that was a pretty good month. So plans. I'm going to keep it brief just because I don't actually have a lot of plans yet. I haven't thought that far in advance, which seems funny. But I've been working on a whole lot of like setting up journals and stuff and have plans, but also haven't put them down. So I'll have probably some new starts because I still do want to do some of the like new starts, that kind of thing, and do some stitching, or what do we call it? Halloween stitching. Well, spooky stitching will get done before you see me the next time. I don't know. I don't think I'll have done Christmas stitching yet. All those things I think I'm going to keep the same, keep doing. I'm also still doing Fandom Stitching Central this year. As I said, the theme is Disney. And one of the big things that I'm really happy with is that for both the monthly and weekly prompts, they put in like what they're calling a Disney Plus option, which means that instead of doing a full coverage event this year that goes by page finishes, they're doing it where you can, for any of the prompts, if you don't have something that fits that prompt or don't want to work on something that fits that prompt, you can do the Disney Plus option, which lets you work on a full coverage BAP, so a full coverage project with at least 4 pages or more, or something Disney related. So I could work on my Hero Sal as part of that. And you can count those for the exact amount of stitches. So if the prompt calls for 300 and you do 300 on that, you get the prompt. So I'm hoping that that will actually let me get done more on my full coverages this year, because instead of just having to find something to fit a prompt that I maybe don't want to work on, I can just do a full coverage instead. Or if I don't have something for a prompt, I can use my full coverage. So the plan basically for the next few weeks until I've solidified more plans is to kind of work on what I want and fit it into the prompts where I can. So if I have something I want to work on and fits a prompt, great. If not, I will work on something full coverage instead. So I'm very much hoping that I'll get done more full coverage projects this year. Or did I say get done? Get worked on. I don't remember what I said, but that's what I'm hoping to do. So for the next few weeks, I'll just be focused on working on projects and prompts and figuring out what I want to do for the year. And if I want to set myself goals, what goals I want to set, etc. I may come back, as I said, with a plans video. I may not. We'll see how it goes. Depends what I kind of put as plans and what all I end up putting in my whip parade that's coming out shortly. So that is it for plans, I think. So as I already mentioned, we're going to skip over story section today. I don't have anything for other crafts, whips, I don't think. None that I can think of anyways. We'll skip over all those sections. I will say thank you for those who commented on my last video in relation to my story section, where I talked about my thoughts for having like story-based gamey stitching plans for this year, like putting together something. I still haven't had a lot of time to think about what I want to do for that, or brainstorm it, or actually set anything up. But for those of you who commented, I am thinking kind of role-playing along the lines of Dungeons and Dragons-esque something. And I was very happy with happy to get that feedback. And also, I know someone gave a suggestion of another YouTuber who does like D&D style fitness board game. So I will definitely be checking them out to see how they've done theirs. But that is something that is still on my list of brain plans. I do really want to kind of keep stories and storytelling foremost in my mind as I work on different creative projects and creative work this year. So I am excited for that. I am hoping I'll get to maybe do some planning into that in the next couple weeks. But stay tuned. It is still in my brain, even though I haven't actually got it set up or anything going on that one yet. But thank you for your feedback on that one. Anyways, I think I'm going to call it there. I have no idea how long this video is because I got to cut some sections and fix some things and cut out some ramblings. But I hope that you got some stitching in, and I hope you were able to get some stitching in over the holidays. Let me know in the comments. Did you find you got a lot of stitching done in the last month? Did you find you didn't get any done at all, or somewhere in between? I would love to hear. I'd love to hear if there were other fun activities you were doing over the holidays instead. But I hope that you have a wonderful stitchy week this coming week. And I am hopeful I'll be back on track with my floss tubes, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks instead of a month again. So before then, though, keep an eye out for the Whip Parade. I am going to be filming it still this afternoon. And hopefully, as long as all editing goes well, it should be done and up in the next few days from when you see this video. So until next time, thank you so much for joining me today.